Hello, all of you delightful beings out there, and welcome to the stream. I am Raw Zim, and this is Timberborn, or also known as the Beaver game. And it is close enough to TF Tuesday. Well, technically, we're 2 minutes shy of TF Tuesday on the East Coast, so we're gonna go with the TF Talkies today. So, by all means, transform me to your heart's content. And there are 2 new stages available in there for you all to find. So go ahead, have fun looking for them.
I don't see the potions.
Oh, right, I gotta actually activate the potions. Oops. There you go.
Guy, that's adorable.
All right, so
I want one.
so the Timberborn, last time I played it was when they first introduced the dirty water. I am not thrilled on trying to deal with that again, but we'll give it a shot. Uh, hmm. Yeah, we'll go with Lake. And, you know, I did the, I think I'm gonna go with easy. Just for the sake of trying to figure out how to deal with the dirty water. Because that is a extreme difficulty increase that they've added, and is just like, holy crap.
I think the thing my housemate was telling me is get on to making like TNT quickly, because that will let you like burn up, use up dirty water.
Well, what I'm talking about is when the dirty water comes out of the main water source.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, it took me a
Gib
moment
Gab.
not to think. Right for a moment, I thought that was a red panda and someone in a red panda fursuit.
There, transform town. Alright, let's take stock, because I know that they have changed the way the game works. So at this point it turns into dirty water and just continues on. The bad water. Why do we have to clean up the human's mess? Oh right, they're all dead.
It's now the beaver's turn.
Okay. Here's a river, a water source. More water sources. All of which are going to eventually wind up flowing past my town and causing lots of issues. And Rowan, I am good at city builders. You're the only one that struggles with, you know, me doing these. You're just jealous of my skill. And you guys have already gotten the anthropossum form. That was definitely fast.
Ooh. That's dope.
I like the possum.
Rex likes it too, apparently.
Oh, also, have you ever seen an Australian possum?
I don't know if I have or not.
Because I always used to find it funny that people would talk about possums as these really, like, kind of icky looking animals. And I'm like, but possums are freaking adorable. So I have to show you an Australian possum.
Joke.
I mean, to be fair, I felt similar confusion when you and Guru were finding Zen's pangolin form and asked if it was an armadillo. I'm from Texas. I know very much what an armadillo is.
I've never, I've never seen an armadillo before, or a penguin for that matter. There, those are Australian possums.
One day on my lunch break at like 2 a.m., I was walking to the gas station for a sandwich, and I saw an armadillo on the side of the road. And it was just like scrounging through some dirt or something. I waved at it and it waved back. It was kind of weird.
Go build those. And also the
Although,
Australian possum is cute.
although we have an animal that's even cuter.
Is it you? Because you are
Aw.
definitely very cute.
It's called a quokka.
Oh, those, yes.
Wait, there's a what?
What's up?
What was that one form that you got very early on? It was one of the first forms you got. I haven't seen it in a while.
You're gonna
It's
need to
not
be
a
more...
quokka. It was like one of the first three that you got.
Fossa?
Yeah, I haven't seen that one in a long time. Did
No?
it like disappear?
No, I was just in that the other day.
Oh, okay.
Beavers need water to survive. Build a water pump to ensure a continuous source of drinking water. Yeah, definitely gonna need a lot of water. Especially when that dirty water comes by. Fetch is really cute. Yes, Gib Gab. Alright. Where's the time thing? There it is. Yay for hurry up and wait stuff.
What was it? I'm on my way. I'm just waiting for the bus. Well, hurry up and get here soon. Waits faster.
No, don't go to sleep. I need you to work.
Increase their work day then.
Is that a thing I can do?
Yeah. Up the top, where it says 16 hours at the top, you can make it larger or other side, left and right.
Oh.
Yeah, there. You can put them on 24-hour days if you want. They'll be miserable, but you can do it.
Hey, at least for the beginning of this, we're going to do that, and then we'll take it away after we're actually established. Because we're on a time limit here.
I regret teaching you how to torture your beavers.
Alright, so now we need...
No sleep for you!
Well, I need what I need. Oh, I can't tell them specifically to go get this.
What are you trying to get them to do?
Oh, I want this blueberry bush out of the way. So I'm gonna probably just demolish it.
Yeah. Probably your best bet.
This way I can make this path go straight. Build efficient farmhouse. Quite a range for this thing. I do not remember it being this much of a range, but hey, I will take it.
They massively increased the range because a lot of people really didn't like the district system.
Oh, good, because yeah, that district system was just convoluted as heck.
It's still there, it's just the ranges are so large now that they're kind of optional. Like, you only really have to do them if you're building, like, another town on the other side of your map.
Oh, so I can pump out bad water. I'm not certain why I would want to do that.
Use it for science now.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have a good boy here.
Jesus.
Meow.
awesome. Thank you. Rex has brought me foods.
Ooh. Make
No,
sure you
no, I
eat.
wouldn't, Gib. No, I would not, Gab. I would burn them. Ren? I would want the spiders burned, not my house.
¿Por qué son los dos? Oh, sorry, why not both?
Well, because I would like to live somewhere. And so I don't want to trust Ren's rolls on trying to burn a spider nest.
That is fair.
Okay. We're waiting for logs again. That is 90% of this game. Just waiting for logs.
I find the biggest race in this game is getting the forestry set up to grow trees before you run out of wood.
It really is. Okay, I guess you guys can sleep. Blah.
Thank you, Master.
Oh, it's like that? Huh.
Huh?
No, he is not my pet.
No. I was mimicking the beavers.
Sure you were. Sure.
Alright, so we have built it. Now we need to plant stuff. So that's 25. Another 25. $65. 70. Alright. Another 5. And then 6 more. While all the buildings you placed have some storage, they will fill up quickly. Build additional stockpiles for logs and water. Each storage building can only hold one type of resource. Yes, I do know all that. But good to be reminded, I suppose. I know, right, Neo? Biological needs? Ugh. Potato!
Potato.
Alright.
Okay, I think I finally finished the sketch.
Oh? You were working on a sketch?
For the base of the comic I'm doing.
Ah. As I am hearing screaming coming from Holo's room.
Wait,
No, so do I.
do we need to go check on Screaming?
No. She's fine, trust me.
Okay.
She tends to be a little over the top at times.
A little.
As a treat.
I can think of much better. Like this rock I found. Rock.
I'll do the large pile there.
Eh.
What do you mean, eh?
Oh, I'm trying to click on something, but every time I click on it, a new image loads and it pushes it down further in the page, and I click on the wrong thing.
Oh.
It's more like a, let me hit it,
Yes, get to planting. You have limited time to survive.
Have you got them set to prioritize harvest or plant?
Good point. Setting them to harvest.
That's something that's killed my beavers before. Stop planting! There are crops ready and people are dying! Is this one of the newer maps?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Yep.
I
don't
think
recognize
it's
this
a
one.
remade one of the original. As I know they've done that a few times with this stuff. I'm actually really surprised that this dirty water, or bad water, is not killing these trees. All right. Got all our crops planted, ready to go. And I definitely need storage for them, but I don't want to break the tutorial by, you know, doing them wrong. Or, you know, just doing other stuff first.
I always find every time I play this game, always follow the tutorial, otherwise your colony collapses.
I can see that happening.
But that's just me.
By the way, while you guys have found one new form, you guys have not found the other new stage. There's another new stage in there somewhere.
I know it's not this one, so let's try under a different one.
Joke.
It could be under this one.
Ah, there's the keeper of the document. Ready to go look. Alright, now we need medium warehouses. Oh, hey there, Soft Diamond. Good to see you. Nanook! How the heck are ya? And New Year's. Good to see you too.
A wild kitsune has appeared.
Oh, crap. I messed up a little bit. 1 second. Oh, good. It's still named that. 1 sec, Ido. Yeah, I forgot to add that. Not that. Channel Plan Redemption, load. That, save. And save. Yeah, I forgot to actually set that as a trigger there. Oops.
I shall throw it. Okay, that's adorable.
The Season 9 expansion pass for Stellaris? I did not realize that they had expansion passes now. What's that game, Neo? Oh, I did not realize that was coming out so soon. I thought we still had a little bit more time. I want the game.
I just lost the game.
Actually, I want to move these. I will put them up here. Yeah, I was watching Inzoi. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be quite exactly what I was hoping for. But it is still definitely better than the alternative that we've been stuck with, and that being EA's Sims.
Wait, what game is this?
Inzoi?
Okay.
I know there's
better.
also Paralives that's supposed to be coming out this year, so I'm excited for that as well.
We need a better to mod version of this. Sims like that's like better to mod.
We need a Sims like that's not owned by EA.
Joke.
Agreed.
Are we really already running out of... Oh boy. Need to get that forestry going.
You're almost out of wood.
Yeah. Good night, Izo. Thanks for coming by.
Bye, Azo.
Neo, I do wonder if EA is confused and thinks they're already in the dairy industry.
I mean, if they like milking people, I can give them a better industry.
BAP.
Well, I'm hearing rumors that Ubisoft is getting totally destroyed for what they've been doing lately. So maybe there's hope for EA to learn a lesson.
Well, I mean, Blizzard got pretty wrecked with it too, so wouldn't surprised if it happens to them as well.
Well, Ubisoft... So the way that the games industry works, they don't actually learn. They just learn, oh, people really don't like this, so we'll go with this other shady practice instead.
Hmm. And as long as they're all doing the shitty practices, then, well, people don't have a choice. Indie for the win.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but the rumor is that Ubisoft is outright splitting up after the latest Assassin's Creed, or because it was received so poorly and so many things went wrong with it.
I did hear those. I did hear that. From what I understand, they made the announcement that they were going to do so, and then their investors were like, no! And so they're kind of dealing with that.
I mean, I cannot state how disappointed I was in Skull and Bones.
I have to agree. I was actually really hopeful for Skull and Bones. And then...
Then their post gameplay came out, and you're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, they're having a tendency of putting out okay-ish games, which would be fine, except they're putting out okay-ish games, using the budget for what should be industry-changing games, and then also asking for extreme monetization on top of that.
Well, what
Yeah,
was
they're
it?
asking for they're asking for income that, you know, is worth a industry changing game.
It's like what was it? EA said that the problem with the latest Dragon Age game was that they didn't do microtransactions. That's why it failed, because that's what apparently they think people want. I read that and I just lost all faith in AAA gaming industry.
Well, it's like,
Yeah.
I think because they're putting so much into the budget, they're expecting to capture so much of the market of people who play games without realizing that maybe more so than a lot of other industries, the market for people who play games is extremely fractured because it's not just the difference in genres. You have the entire difference between the mobile gamers versus the console gamers versus the PC gamers.
And even those have their own incredibly large fractions in them.
Mhm.
Also, I feel that a lot of game developers seem to fail to realize that most gamers like a wide selection, not a single game that they play all the time. Like, yes, they might have a game that they play a lot, but usually it's like, play a game for a bit, and they're like, I want to break from this. I'm going to play something else for a while, and then I might go back to it. But it's like, no,
Well, that's
all your
kind of what
time.
happened with that's kind of what happened with Zelda for me. Like, I don't mind Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom as Zelda installments. I mind that they're the only installments that we're getting for the next 2 decades. Because
Aren't
like
we
between the
getting...
time that like between the time they started working on Breath of the Wild, we got all of like one small game besides that. We got Breath of the Wild, and then there was like a 6 year gap. We got Tears of the Kingdom, and then Echoes of Wisdom. And now there's going to be like another 6 or 7 year gap before we get another big Zelda game. So it's like 2 decades, and all we've got to say for it are very small, tiny Zelda games, and these two games that I didn't really enjoy. And the same thing's kind of going on with Mario. I loved Mario Odyssey. I loved Mario Wonder too, but waiting several years for a new Mario game that's going to be completely different when all I want is just more Odyssey and more Wonder, doesn't make sense to me. Why can't they just release more Odyssey?
But yet
They
again, you
have
have
the
the other
engine.
side of the spectrum with Pokemon, where they keep pooping them out fast as they can, and the last couple of games have just actually been kind of because of it.
And,
Yeah.
and yet, despite that, Pokemon is still a huge franchise. Maybe that works. If they just keep pooping it out and every once in a while they make something good, that's fine. And after the fact, there's a whole bunch of people that like. I remember when Legends of Arceus came out, so many people were complaining about all the problems, and yet now at this point, I still see a lot of people playing it. I still see a lot of people enjoying it. So like, I don't know. All I can tell you is that I'm just so disengaged from Zelda and Mario, which were franchises that I grew up and are supposed to mean a bunch to me, because like I just can't be waiting 6 or 7 years for a game that's just going to be like,
That's fair. To be honest, I was always more of a... Everyone around me was playing Zelda, and I was like playing Empire Earth. And it wasn't until Twilight Princess that I actually really got into Zelda.
or like as an alternative, the Civilization series. Civ 7 wasn't received very well, and it's like for people that are super Civ fans, well, guess they've got to wait another 7 years for Civ 8.
Yeah.
Good night, Ido. For me, the difference
Ido.
is Like, yes, it definitely sucks that they are taking so long to put out games. But at least when they do put out those Mario and Zelda games, I'm confident they're going to be great.
I personally would rather less games of good quality that make me feel like my money was worth being spent on it than lots of like, oh, it's good enough, so we're just gonna poop it out with like $100 price tag on it.
Unlike Ubisoft.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it I just think it's kind of a mixed bag because, like, when I was growing up with Zelda, you know, Link's Awakening was my favorite, and in quick succession, I also had both Oracle games, Minish Cap, um, technically Spirit Tracks. Like those came out in relatively quick succession, while also at the same time they were releasing console games, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, uh, and a lot of these games used the structure of the engine very similarly. So in a way, you could say they were effectively the same game. Like Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons were the same Zelda game with different maps. And I was totally okay with that. I just don't understand. Like, just even taking Tears of the Kingdom, they took Breath of the Wild and they reused the map, which, sure, whatever. They've done that in a lot of Zelda games in the past. But it took them how many years to do that? And now it's going to take another how many years for possibly Tears of the Kingdom 2? The development cycle is just insane now.
I'd be pretty surprised if they don't release some sort of Zelda game on the launch of the Switch 2. Because Zelda's traditionally been a flagship game, up there with Smash Brothers. Not saying that they will, but it's just that's going to be weird, them not doing a Zelda game as a flagship game.
Nintendo 64 Ocarina of Time didn't come out immediately. It took a while before it came out. Super Mario 64 and Pilot Wings were the flagship games. I don't remember when Wind Waker came out relative to the GameCube, but Twilight Princess was supposed to be a GameCube game, and it just so happened to take so long that they ended up porting it to the Wii as well.
I did like Twilight Princess, though. But yeah. I realized
Zelda's just kind of coincidentally been aligned with flagship for consoles. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, good. I was going to say, incidentally, though, I think I like Twilight Princess for very different reasons from a lot of all the fairies I know. I just like Zant. I thought he was awesome.
Oh, yeah, Zant's why you liked it. Yes.
Well, I don't know. I never really had my furry awakening until, like, my first partner.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it was like one of those things where it was like, I always liked all the stuff that all the people who I talked to were like, oh yeah, this is what gave me the furry awakening. So, well, I loved those stuff. I really did. And I liked the characters that made you furry, but my brain just never made that association until I started dating furries. And I was like, oh, this is what I am. Okay.
But I mean, I do totally agree with the quality thing. The part that just confuses me is the practice is different. They used to release, games that reused the engine in pretty much similar fashion. Like with Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey has the most fun movements that I've enjoyed in a Mario game since Sunshine. And it seems like a no-brainer to me for them to just release DLC worlds. Just release a Odyssey 2. Where is it?
Well, I mean, I just want more Pikmin. Please, Pikmin, more of it.
Just reuse Pikmin. Just use the same Pikmin engine and release more maps. Like,
yep.
Why do they have to innovate on every single thing? I don't get it.
To be fair, this has kind of always been Nintendo's MO.
It is true.
Their MO is, yeah, we're just going to do something different. We're going to be different from everybody else. At least ever
But, you
since the, I believe it was the release of the Wii, where they just went, you know, everybody else was...
I think it started with Nintendo, because they had that tri-controller, and then they had the GameCube, which took the same principles of PlayStation and Xbox and had that really nice... I love the GameCube controller. It's my favorite one still by today's date, like to today.
I mean,
you know,
that's fine. And like, if Nintendo wants to do that, that's fine. But I still see the same thing with other parts of the industry. How long has it been between GTA 5 and GTA 6? Instead of just releasing GTA 6, they're just milking GTA 5. How long has it been between Skyrim and elsewhere? Or Skyrim 2 or whatever it is now? Are we even going to get it?
Skyrim and Skyrim and Skyrim and Skyrim and Skyrim.
Like, everywhere in the industry, a lot of these games, people would be happy if you just basically took the skeleton and just built a new experience from that skeleton. But instead, they have to innovate and improve the graphics and do all of these crazy things that don't actually impact the gameplay. And I feel like they've completely lost touch with actually making fun games. And like that's one of the
Sarah.
reasons why I played so many indie games.
Oh yeah,
for,
Half-Life
like,
2 and
years now,
Half-Life
because-
3.
Yeah, that's why I play so many indie games now instead of main games, because the people that make indie games are making it because they want to make a fun game.
Sarah, we
They
we
don't want to
can
tell an immersive
start a,
story.
we could make an essay about Valve and their inability to count to 3.
So, Valve aside, a lot of these, like in the case of Nintendo, I know they want to make the best games they can. That has been their MO from the beginning of, you know, the game industry. They don't want to shovel out, you know, trash.
They also don't want to put out what they've already put out before, which I can respect.
Yeah. So it's like, at least with Nintendo, I am happy to wait. I'm happy to wait for the quality I know I'm going to get out of Nintendo. Yes, I definitely want more of that stuff to come out faster. But I'm willing to wait.
But yeah, I do agree, especially with like GTA, like with 5 and 6. It's like, okay, have you actually looked at the stuff we've seen for 6 so far? It's like, this does not look like a game I want to play at all.
Like, I feel like we've seen the entire rise of From Software, including like a massive cult classic franchise at this point, between just one game and another for almost every other big AAA company. Make it make sense.
I mean, I can't because I don't like From Software. Yeah, don't hate me.
You're in good company on my end, at least.
I think From Software has a niche of people who like their games, and they do what they do very well. But personally, if I had to pick a slow moving, committal action game, I honestly kind of prefer Monster Hunter, because at least I can play that one with my international friends. But a lot of people get upset who like From Software who compare it with Monster Hunter. But
yeah, I'm not saying you need to like From Software's game or the Dark Souls games or anything. It's just like almost all of the franchises I've listed in the same time span. We've had Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. Now Elden Ring Night Rain's coming out.
I mean, my example of one that does that is like Subnautica. I mean, in the space of some of these, we've seen multiple games coming from Subnautica, and it's amazing for its genre. So, yeah, you have a point. So excited for Subnautica 2.
You and me both. I don't like horror games, but Subnautica is one that actually got me.
I feel Subnautica is less on the horror and more on the terror, and I can handle horror. Sorry, I can handle terror, I can't handle horror. You know, horror being the oogly boogly monster is chasing you down the hallway, terror being what's behind that door making that creepy sound.
Well, when Rex is playing Subnautica, it's a lot more of the oogly boogly monster chasing him down. That's for sure.
Also, you know, being swallowed by a giant fishy doesn't sound so bad.
Slut.
Yes.
All right, where's my spray bottle?
I like water. Common myth that cats don't like water. I spray water at my cat, he gets happy.
My cat did too. My cat, you know, before she passed on, she had figured out how to turn on the kitchen sink and would turn it on and take a bath in it and drink from it and stuff. The problem is she never figured out how to turn it off. Because that wasn't her problem. So we just come home and the kitchen sink is just running.
I had to start, so I used to leave the door open for my shower to like let the steam out. And I had to stop doing that because my cat would come in and force his way into the shower with me. And I was like, no! It would be fine. But then the claws would come out. And I'm like, this is not where you want cats' claws to come out.
Oh, you're all about getting swallowed in the teeth, but that's where you draw the line?
Well, I mean, personally, the big problem wasn't so much my cat's claws coming out. The big problem was the soaking wet cat streaking across my house while I tried to catch it to dry it. In all honesty. And usually what he'd do is jump right onto my bed. And I'm like, okay, that's not how I like wet patches on my bed.
Oh, so how do you like wet patches on your bed?
Think if I answered that question, you might get demonetized.
I've probably said worse.
Probably.
You gotta give it the good hug.
But at least in the case of Raijin, he's cute.
Oh my.
George Takei, you will be remembered forever for that.
And just being a generally awesome guy, period.
He is, and him and his husband are so cute. Wait, I should throw another potion at you. I haven't had one thrown at you in a little while.
Rosin.
Oh, a new potion
Right,
just
Jim.
reset you.
Mwah. See, I like the way Kuroi thinks. I do the same thing. It's like, guys, it's been a while. Throw a potion at me. TF me. There's so many forums. Let's go through all of them.
You call me a slut.
I like what I like. I ain't ashamed of it. Blue is pretty fitting for this.
Thought you might appreciate it.
Do you know what blue is?
Wasn't blue the like badger? No, probably wrong.
Blue
I don't remember
is otter.
Otter, that's it. Okay. So yes, it is good for this. And then whenever I play this, I just think of the beavers from Narnia, but like the BBC Narnia, not like the remake movies with Shia LaBeouf.
I should really get I should get a beaver form. I will add it to the list.
You realize if you do that every time you play this game, I'm turning you into a beaver.
Yes. You say that like it's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing at all. Just letting you know factual statements. Okay, I have to go back to drawing my Easter Bunny now. That's enough for that sketch. And I swallowed a fly. Ugh. That's...
Oh, I never designated trees over here. Oops.
No wonder you're running out of wood. I need to poke a wolf and make sure he's doing his homework.
There's a drought coming, which is going to cause a lot of trouble. However, I think it will be okay. Emphasis on the think. On the plus side, we have plenty of carrots and berries that should be able to last us through this. You okay?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, jeez. This gets completed and almost immediately it's filled. Oh, 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 it's magic. You know. The drought has arrived. Cute. We'll put the water thing here, right next to this other dam. Here's a good boy coming. Who's your good boy?
Is he a good boy?
Who's your good boy? Are you a good boy?
Where?
Are you my good boy?
Where?
Are you my good boy?
Where?
Yes, you are. Bark for me. Good boy.
Spot.
I'll be right back.
So cute.
Good night, Ran.
Night, Ren. Be well. I kind of want to check. So, when rewatching a TV series or something you've seen before, do you ever just like refuse to watch like the last episode or two, just because like you've seen the ending once and you don't want to have to see it again? I never like watching the last episode of shows I've already seen the last episode of that I really liked. It's weird. I don't want to relive it. Sorry.
Alright, I'm back. The water returns! Praise the Eel Father!
Artification is now complete.
Squeak.
Squeakers, squeak, squeak, squeakers, and squeakers.
That movie was one of the greatest of all time.
I'll run.
Emperor's New Groove.
Yep. I will have to agree. One of the greatest movies they ever produced. I've been turned into a cow. Can I go home?
Alright, we're gonna make this water pump a high priority. So we can demolish this one. And we're gonna start building stuff in here. It's gonna suck getting rid of all these blueberry bushes, but at the same time, we've got another source of those up here. As well as down here whenever this gets built. Oh, so apparently the water just sits there in the rubble? Okay.
I will be right back. I'm gonna get some num-nums.
Sounds good. Oh, so now we have more workers. Cool. I guess some of them grew up. Right, Jin.
Awesome.
Mwah.
Oh.
Okay, I really need more wood, so we're gonna put one of these over here. Turn that one off to let some more trees grow. Ah, good, they're getting their campfire. Enjoy your social life. Because before long, it'll be nothing but work, 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 work! I mean, what? I'm gonna turn this off for now because I got these berries sitting here and I'd like them to be gathered up before we turn that back on. We've got a good stockpile of food so far. Hey there, Rufus. I am giving the kitty some loves right now.
Good kitties get all the love.
Yes, they do. Apparently, Rex and Holo shut him out of Holo's room, so he's whining.
Jake just misses me.
Oh, I'm sure he misses you. I miss you.
I mean, it's like that everywhere I go. I visit people, their cats just immediately climb all over me, settle in my lap.
It's like they know you're allergic or something.
That is
Oh, I was
something
just going
I
to say
found.
that's the pussy, but that's true too.
Here's something I found. Cats pass people who are allergic to cats. Cats now decide they're best friends.
Well, it's like whenever I visit my sister, she
Okay.
has a cat named Sophia, and uh, whenever my sister's friends would visit, they'd always like try and get to pet Sophia and be affectionate to Sophia and whatever. Then whenever I visit for the holidays, Sophia always just immediately climbs into my lap, won't pay attention to anyone else, but me specifically, immediately in my lap.
Never mind, it was just someone trying to scam me.
How Darius?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Do you have things that you wish to discuss?
I was just kind of mostly here.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, I could bring up stuff if you want.
I can do my best.
All right. Well, I had one guy be really excited over the new weapon and armor trait system. So, you know, that's nice. I ended up making like almost 40 armor traits that are intrinsic.
I haven't finished listening to that recording, but I know you commented that the way it's being developed, armor is now basically going to be a mandatory thing. One thing to consider since I eventually I'm going to get back to working on the perks, the
Yeah,
specialty
the
perks,
expertise perks.
expertise perks. Yeah. Sorry, I've had a bad 4 weeks. When I get back to that, we could implement various forms of unarmored bonuses to help mitigate and add to the variety for people that don't want armored.
Yeah. That, and there's also, like, you know, the natural defense system, which is gonna probably get, like, revamped and expanded, because,
Yeah.
you know, armor has actual stuff. But yeah, no, I had someone in the non-ZGF game that I'm in, end up, like, a little bit ahead of time remaking his weapon and armor, because he's been using, like, you know, the half-baked skeletal system we've been using for the past while, and he was super excited about all the new stuff.
Cool. I will definitely say I really enjoy hearing that people are enjoying this and excited and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now there's how many? 43. There is 38 new armor traits that are like intrinsic to armor. And of course, like a bunch of those are like, here's the positive version, here's the negative version. But like, even so, that means there's like still 20 traits to choose from. And for the weapons, they're definitely excited about a lot of the new stuff. Which is also really funny because when they looked at it originally, they said, "Oh, I'm gonna make a weapon that focuses on this," and then they end up making a weapon that didn't have a single point in it.
As they do.
As people do, because they look around and then they see all the other stuff and they're like, okay, but I want some of this and I want some of this. And you know, realistically, my weapon is made out of like an expensive material, so it should probably have like exotic repair to it. But you know, I want it to have strike capable, so that way it can contribute to my strikes, and then the durable trait's really nice, so that way it doesn't break. And all of this, and then they're doing this, so like, oh, I also really want like the upgraded like hack damage type, so that way I can get past slashing resist. And then by the end of this, they put exactly 0 points into the penetration trait that they really said they were going to like invest heavily into.
On that front, the strike, I was thinking that trait would be called integrated.
There's one for each, actually.
What do you mean?
There's both integrated and strike capable. There's 2 different ones they give it.
Fair enough. Though, do make sure it's only available to light weapons.
Yeah.
It's good that this is being worked on because I very much think whenever I get around to playing on it, he would very much like to have armor.
I mean, just technically speaking, I guess I didn't have to do all of this, but I was already revamping weapon and armor stat-wise, and so I might as well just flesh it all out. So it's a lot.
You might as well be cute.
It is very appreciated. You're doing good work.
Yeah. Well, it's also funny because technically speaking, this was not supposed to be my project in any way.
Did we even have somebody assigned to that?
So originally you were working on that, and then you were struggling with traits, so you had Era start working on traits, so I started helping him with that. And then it just sort of ended up not being worked on by anyone for a while, because I was working on a bunch of other things, and I was like only seconded to this project, and then nothing happened with it. And then we decided we were going to add in new tiers, so I just went, alright, I'm just assuming control over this, and did it.
Assuming direct control.
Basically. But that is the order of operations that happened with weapons.
Fair enough.
And then armor was always attached to weapons anyway, so. Yeah, technically speaking, I was barely supposed to be touching traits besides like making sure they were balanced, and then here I am like actually just making them instead.
And I'm back. And there's an adorable Eevee in the chat.
Pet pet.
Pet pet. Pet pet.
Yeah, I do have a decent amount of ideas for excitements. I've had stuff going on this week, so
Yeah, that's fair.
Joke.
But yeah, the benefit, the integrated trait is more expensive than strike capable, because integrated means that it's like, you know, considered integrated with the user's body. Like, so think like, you know, having like, you know, gauntleted fists that you're using or something, you know, yada yada yada. And so you can't really be disarmed of them. Because that's a benefit for that. So that's like using brass knuckles or whatever.
Fair enough.
It's basically an upgraded trait for people who really want to, like, spec into it.
Yeah.
I ended up putting a bunch of fun stuff in for armor. Including things like, you know, integrating light weapons into your armor, making it so that way it has like concealed compartment. The classic of putting some spikes on your armor.
Makes sense.
Yeah. One that I really like is protected weak points, which requires 2 more accuracy successes to be crit while wearing the armor. Which is like the equivalent of having +1 evasion, but only for crits. So, like, you know, if you have 6 evasion, it would take 14 to crit you instead of 12. That's all that means.
That was one of the ideas that I put onto the notes for when we got to that.
Yeah. I ended up putting, like, a version of Drop the Tail in there, but it's different. It's sacrifice 5 durability to turn a critical hit into a normal. To a normal hit. Because then you'd still take the normal hit after that, but, like, you know. No. But yeah, no, it's got a bunch of different traits that we can use now. Bunch of different stuff.
You've been doing some very good work, and I'm very grateful for it.
I mean, it's mostly just me stress working anyway.
That does not mean that I cannot be appreciative of your work. You are helping my baby.
Enough. Fair enough. By the way, for the strike-capable one, I made it so that way you could technically use it on more, but the power is limited to that of a light weapon of the same tier. That way you can still throw it on a medium weapon, but you can't benefit from it more than if it was a light weapon. Because people are going to want to pommel strike with their long swords or whatever.
That's fair.
This way, you know, the power is still limited to that of a light weapon, so you're doing it, but you're not getting any extra benefit of doing it with a heavy weapon, for example. You're doing the equivalent of a quick little bash. I figure that's the most accessible but balanced way of doing it, so that way it's usable and fun, but you can't just, like, make a heavy weapon strike character.
Yeah,
I mean, that'd be funny, but not for balance.
It makes perfect sense to me, though.
Did end up making a trait called Choke Up, which is a heavy weapon only trait. Weapon can be used with a standard action with +2 damage difficulty, cannot multi-attack with this trait.
That. No. Yeah.
You okay
That way-
there?
Yeah, you okay there?
Can I be classed as a heavy weapon with choke up?
Oh my god. Oh, awesome, Guru.
Nice. But yeah, no, basically, because +2 damage difficulty and you can't multi-attack, but it does give a heavy weapon user the ability to attack with a standard action. It's just wildly ineffective in comparison, usually. Because +2 damage difficulty is the equivalent of a 50% damage reduction from Power 7, or Power 7, Difficulty 7. So, you know, get hit with 50% damage reduction. What other stuff did I throw in here? Oh yeah, I split up additional target for weapons to be additional target melee and additional target ranged of 10 and 15 each XP.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, one thing I was gonna put in with armor like actually being a thing is I was gonna recommend that we actually put in a slight penalty to sleeping in it, because there is also a trait that I put in for reducing exhaustion recovery malice for sleeping in armor. Because I was thinking, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, that makes sense to be a thing.
Yeah, so I was just thinking if you sleep in medium armor, you get 1 reduced exhaustion recovery. If you sleep in heavy, you get 2 reduced. Light not really giving a negative, because honestly speaking, like if you're sleeping in light armor, you're probably barely noticing, if at all.
Yeah.
But there is a trait literally just called the comfortable trait. And it just reduces the exhaustion recovery malice for sleeping in armor by 1 to a minimum of 0. So if you buy it twice on heavy armor, you can sleep in your heavy armor at all times without problem. But you've also just used 2 trait points on that, so, you know. You're literally purchasing the ability to constantly have it. So if you wanna constantly day or night be in heavy armor, there's your trait. Oh yeah, there's also temperature control. User receives no negative side effects from wearing armor when dealing with environmental temperature hardships. Does not negate the negatives of these. The armor just does not make things worse. We could make it so it actually does reduce the penalties, but for now, I figured just making it so that way your armor doesn't overheat you or something. Probably a nice little trait. I mean, Gara, I never said it would be hygienic. I just said if you wanted to do that.
I think the beaver game is going well. I don't think he's had bad water yet.
No, I have not had bad water.
Also, I like how this is the first time I've heard you talk, and I can already tell that you're adorable. What? Do you disagree? Because, you know, I really don't think that you're allowed to disagree.
I don't think I am either. I think too many people would yell at me if I disagreed.
So you do agree that you're not allowed to disagree.
I flex my right to not answer.
Well, you do have a right to not answer, but I think you want to. Come on, wouldn't you like to answer for me?
Fine.
Go ahead. Do you think that you should be allowed to say that you're not cute, or disagree in any way with that?
No.
Good boy. Yeah, see, he's so adorable. I could tell right away.
Oh, yes.
Well, then I guess you don't have to worry about them being your pets.
No, Kuroi's already claimed.
Garu has finished his homework now. Well, his first class. Wow.
I do have a small question.
Yep.
My brain's now back on the thought of experts and expertises. Once these first ones are kind of the hardest for me to come up ideas with because
Naru was petting
I
Koi
didn't
underscore
want
Wow.
adorable. I didn't want to come up with like dice manipulation options for just a few expertises and leave others like out to dry. So I was trying to be equal with that. But getting past that, it should be a lot easier to come up with ideas. In particular, one thing that struck me now is take empathic, for example. It's really easy to come up with ideas like related to healing. How much do we want, like, how agnostic do we want to stay to prevent people from feeling like they have to pick specific expertises for certain roles? Like, we don't want all healers to be empathic, for example, but do we want to have healing related perks for empathic as well as probably others?
Yeah, this is kind of the same thing that we're facing with the affinity feats, where for certain affinities we are encouraging people to be certain types or have type affinity for these types because they promote certain styles of play. So, I'd say we should still probably try to avoid it when we can, but if we can't, it's... I think it's pretty reasonable to have it happen occasionally, so long as, like, we're being mindful of it.
I do, in general, want to try and avoid the forcing people into a type thing.
Yeah, avoiding the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
okay,
then-
everyone, focus up. Do your homework.
Well, it's more like trying to create the conceptual option of going into what could create a class without it being your
Mandatory.
shoehorn tied to a specific expertise if you want to play a certain role. Is kind of where I'm struggling. So because like I've got ideas for things that could go into a condition based playstyle, and then it's like, oh well, if you tie that to a specific expertise, then you're encouraging any player that wants to focus on conditions to go with a specific expertise as well. So
yeah, it does kind of doing those kinds of things kind of does, like, encourage people to get this or that expertise or affinity or whatever in order to complement their play style, and it starts being more guided instead of like fully build your own. So I think, like, whenever we do something like that, we should try and, like, effectively pin it in order to go, okay, so we're doing this for now, and we'll try and figure out if there's a better way to really do this. And, like, try and, like, give it another pass when we're mostly done with everything else. Because sometimes it's also just not having the experience designing the system that you're trying to, like, create right now this second to come up with a better idea for it. Because what'll happen very commonly is we'll come up with ideas and then we'll look back, like, a month later and go, what the hell were we thinking with this? There was a much better solution. So I guess what I'm trying to say is don't avoid putting it to paper, but, like, keep trying to think about better ways to do it.
right.
And, like,
one thought I
don't
had-
feel bad about, like, trying to ask people for, like, input on those sorts of things, even if it's for, like, people unrelated.
Yeah. But like I was saying with unarmored defense options, I started listening to the last dev session that got me thinking about that. And it's not quite as bad as, say, like tying empathic to healing. Because there's a lot of expertises I could see working with a sort of unarmored defense system. And like either they could have unique mechanisms, or it could be like if you're this expertise or this expertise or this expertise, then you can get this. Which both have ups and downs for sure.
There is always the option of just going on the idea of different flavors. So, like, all of them can technically do the same thing. It's just what flavor you bring to it. And then it's how you want your character build, just depends on how you go down the path.
Alright, we finally have forestry. We're finally making progress. Just need this dam built before that drought approach hits, and we should be pretty good to go. Also, come on, finish the TF.
Oh, what color are we throwing at you?
Let's go. I can't throw potions and color and draw at the same time.
Oh, fair. Well, the drawing would take priority then.
I still throw potions at you though. You have a bunny.
Yes, I have a bunny.
I have to find the bunny.
That's where you're going right now.
Oh, nice. I accidentally found the bunny.
Yeah, I was like looking over, just like, what? I wonder why he's asking. He's literally going down the bunny route.
I was asking because I was drawing a bunny.
But yeah, no, we're definitely going to need to give natural defenses a pass over, because currently it's really only helpful for one meme build.
One meme build?
Yeah, because the problem is that the EXP investment into it currently is really high before you start getting a bunch of useful stuff. Unless you go into tank the hit, drop the tail. Because part of the problem is that unless you do that, you are constantly going to be out of natural defense. Because there is the artificial repair thing, but there's not really any rules behind it, so it's really hard to figure out how it's actually supposed to work. For the artificial scales part. So besides that, like, even getting it to repair, getting natural defenses, getting the necessary skill, and getting fast regrowth to rank 2, so that way you can get a total of 3 durability per full rest, is 25 plus... Let's assume it's a starting skill, so 70. Plus 30, 155 XP total. You know what, I'm going to cut out the... no, I'm not going to cut out the 5 XP. So it's like 155 to 160 XP total to have natural defense that has 5 max durability, no negation, 1 soak, and you can regrow it at a rate of 3 per day. For, like, 160 XP.
Yeah, that is a bit high.
Yep, and then if you get tank the hit and drop the tail for an additional 20, bringing it to 180, every other day you can dodge 1 attack that would have otherwise hit you. And then, thick shell is an additional 25 per, and you'd have to buy that.
I'm debating if we may want to go through a lot of the primeval features and reduce their costs overall.
Maybe, because they have a feat cost going into it. Some of them legitimately stand up on their own. Like, Primeval Initiative. Like, that one, legitimately great, because its entire point is action economy. So, Primeval Initiative, great. Works amazingly. Natural armor, or natural defense, I'm going to keep referring to it as natural armor. But it's natural defense. has a meme build that's like, you know, pretty funny and like you can get some use out of it, but overall it's really not that useful.
Wants you to fix your posture.
Shape-shifting, not a lot of people have really played around with it, but I think that one's like fairly developed. We could probably like give it a pass, especially now that we actually have rules for different sizes for grow or diminish.
Yes.
Telekinesis, I mean, that one's pretty new, so that one's pretty developed.
That one, I will say, I'm thinking I'm going to be reducing it to a, or changing the name to, tendrils or something along those lines.
Fair.
Because as I've been making it, or as I was working on it and stuff, it was like, you know, this really isn't telekinesis. It's just tentacles.
Fair. Telepathy, honestly haven't looked at that one too much, so I couldn't tell you.
I mean, there is always the hybrid where telepathy and tentacles meld when you get things like Elfin Lied. Or Elfin Lead. Telekinetic tentacles.
But yeah, no, the one that is in need desperately of anything to like rework is natural defense.
Agreed.
It was honestly weaker than armor was originally, much less now that it's gotten like a pass through an actual like rule support and trait support. So now it's literally only useful if you go into drop the tail.
So I'm assuming this is a TTRPG you guys are making?
Yes.
Yeah.
Called Scar.
Very cool.
For playing as
Oh, it's that one.
Pokemon, Digimon, monsters from Monster Hunter, and more.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's that one. Hello, I'm the math guy. Even though it's really funny to say that with my current icon.
This is just where... This is why Nova never gets to use his Tic Tac during game. He spends all of the use, outside working on Scar.
Look, if Nova ever made anything for Scar, I think you'd probably just want to cordon the entire thing he worked on and burn it.
Why?
Imagine Nova having to make thoughtful development decisions.
Okay, fair enough.
Hey, else wouldn't you?
Kuroi, for your reference, Nova, the actual like character, is dumbass of the highest order.
I hate to say it, but I kind of picked up on that when I was throwing the maelstrom at you.
Yeah, no, he is a dumbass of the highest order, and everyone assumes that he has survived thus far from sheer divine providence, which is also why Narashi has declared that she has an eternal grudge against Arceus for letting Nova survive. This is someone who got launched into a support beam, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's okay. He only hit his head."
Well, it would make sense.
Yeah. Don't worry. He won against the support beam too. He cracked the support beam.
So, I mean, he is an Eevee, so Skull Bash?
Yeah, his only move is Headbutt. He literally only has Headbutt as a move.
Fair enough. I just remember whenever I used to use that move when I was a young kid playing Pokemon, I'd always chuckle to myself, and everyone would be like, "Why?" I'm like, "He headbutt."
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, no, Nova's here's the backstory behind that, by the way. When his uncle was training him how to fight, he told Nova you have to use your head more because he wanted Nova to try to think about things. So
Used it
Nova
literally.
immediately used headbutt, and it's just been doing that since.
That feels very Naruto logic. I love it.
To be fair, somehow Nova has less brain cells than your average shonen protagonist.
I mean, depending on the shonen, that can be a pretty low bar.
Yes, which is my point entirely.
Because, like, you know, if we're comparing it to something like Senku,
Nova is literally like the dumbest character I've ever made, and it's great. Because he also got all of my luck.
dumb character, air quotes, dumb characters can be fun to play.
Oh yeah, no. Definitely. Especially when the
And
dice
just think,
decide to...
Alderius. Just think, I could bring the Nova energy to Starlight. Just let Comet.
Okay, look, that's true, but I did say that new player discussions would happen with,
I know.
around the actual like market day event.
I know. I'm just teasing.
Yep, I'm just reminded because it has been a second since it actually came up with me in voice chat.
I just think it's mostly that I didn't mean for Comet to be a himbo, but he's turning into a himbo, so
That's nice.
There's also there's everyone loves the good-natured idiot.
Oh yeah, no, Nova's 100% good-natured idiot, but he's also like an idiot of the highest order. And somehow, if he gets to roll, unless it's really funny, he just avoids punishment.
Fair enough.
And there was literally a point where Zim dropped a tree on me when I was playing Nova, and then went, you know what? No, fuck it. And I'm doubling the damage. And it was still just barely not enough to even knock Nova unconscious.
Yeah.
Or win him.
Yeah. Now I gotta
Zim
go
drops
find.
a tree on the player. The player would barely even take damage. Taldarius drops the tree on a player. Everything goes horrible.
Yep, it's great.
Where's that short that Era made? Here it is.
Arceus has abandoned us.
Where are you?
I'm like, I need to bring it up on stream.
He's bringing it up on stream. So that way people can see.
Yeah.
Nova, where are you?
Okay, here you go.
Nova, where are you? Do any of us hear that?
Damn it. This is proof Arceus has abandoned us.
I doubled the damage. What do you fucking want from me?
Arceus has abandoned us.
That's great. Oh, Zim, did you look into that to change?
Not yet. I was kind of sent it at like 7 a.m. and then I overslept and had to get started with stream, so...
What were you recommending him?
Tabletop called To Change.
Ah.
It's a TTRPG about, well, transformation.
Nice.
Into animals.
But yeah, I think we got. I still need to make shields. That'll be my project like tomorrow or something. I'll make shields tomorrow.
You need the sword and board.
To be fair, I do actually love sword and board playstyles.
It can be fun. For my tank archetypes, I tend to like the sword and boards.
Yeah. In video games, I like almost never play sword and board, like if it's like a Souls-like. But the moment it moves away from that, I'm like, oh yeah, it's sword and board.
I like sword and boards in my MMOs, and they're fun in Monster Hunter.
Yeah, fair.
Although Pokken board is better.
True. Give me the spear.
Actually, give me the Gunlance Poke Boom sword with board. You know, unless you're staggering the rest of your party as you laugh as you blow up the monster, it's not fun. You have to have everyone hate you while you're carrying them.
I too love the Monster Hunter weapon where you go poke, 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 hop, poke, 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 hop, poke, 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 hop.
My favorite is to go a full shelling build, because then you just go boom, 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 and you never have to worry about sharpening. Shelling lances are fun. That does not look like leaves, that looks like a butt. What's best done with shooting?
By the way, I went with the friendlier name for an armor trait. But there was another option I could have gone that would be very funny. Even if I'd never actually do it.
What's that?
So it's an armor trait that makes it harder to grapple you, and it's called low friction, but I could have called it lubricated.
Oh my god.
Never do that, but it was technically an option.
Like a well-oiled pig.
So you weren't here for this discussion, Tal, and it's something I don't necessarily want to bring up on stream, but
oh boy.
That is what Agents of Reflection decided to suggest for a replacement to send.
Ah, that. Yeah, okay. No. Actually, I guess I could I guess I could work on the 1.4.2 sheet, where it has the new name and all that.
Hold on,
I'm gonna wait a little bit.
Is it a word that starts with E?
Yes.
I guess I'm gonna wait on that a little bit because I'm also likely going to have to rework armor effects a bit. Because before I was like, oh yeah, with the armor traits we were planning on putting in, like they aren't gonna need more than 4 slots. Looks over at like my 20-something. If you don't include, like, positive and negative variations, the fucking traits for them to select. I think we're gonna need more than 4.
I blame Ren.
True, always blame Ren.
Ren in bed. It's not my fault. But more squeaky. I just can't reach that level of squeak.
It's true.
No.
Ren has a very special amount of squeak. You know what, I'm just gonna Thanos snap the natural defense section and combine it with armor effects, and I'm just gonna rename it. That'll get me the space I need. Oh wait, whoops.
I mean, is it one or the other?
No, you can stack them. But honestly,
I think it would be better to have them still separate.
Okay.
Because my thought was like I'm imagining, you know, a steel type might not necessarily need to wear armor, but they still could. But then they'd still get the benefits of the steelness, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would. But the problem is that they don't have like an intrinsic thing for it. Now there are affinities that benefit specifically natural defenses in the for us it's metal type, but they would benefit from both, but they'd use all the stuff from their armor first, then it goes to natural defenses, then it goes to them. It's a layer system.
Because I just imagine that ones that aren't steel or don't have this harder under, maybe they'll have other benefits instead. Like they might
everyone can take natural defenses,
but they'd have instead, like, you know, better evasiveness or absorbency.
No. So the thing is that natural defenses is a general trait that anyone can take so long as they meet the prerequisites of their skills. They did have like certain skills. But for affinity feats, which you can select so long as you have the affinity, you don't have to have the actual typing itself. You are able to get access to certain traits that are like really beneficial. Like, for example, for metal affinity, there's sharp edges. Wait, no, that's not the right one. Shed the rust. That's the natural defense one. Where you gain, like, you know, an additional point of natural durability per full rest. You know, basically just you get more of your natural durability out. I think there's an earth one that also affects natural durability or natural defenses. Hardened stone. Standard action may harden your body in order to gain a single natural defense negation for the current scene. So, you know, like, there's different, like, affinity traits that, like, affect this sort of stuff, but you aren't required to actually have that type. You just have to have, like, achieved affinity with that type.
Yeah.
So having the type alone gives you nothing in terms of this. You need to have, like, certain feats.
We have a big emphasis on equality with the system. So while it does make sense that, yeah, that you are metal type, you should have just natural armor, we didn't want to go that route. We wanted to have more equality for everybody to have access to things.
So going for more an equality system over an equity system.
Yeah, because usually people will go for whatever their flavor dictates anyway, so...
I mean, to be honest, if I was to play a Pokemon and TTRPG, I'd probably be playing, like, a Gardevoir, but... Except for the fact that they're all femme-coded, but... Could play Gallade.
But you understand what I mean, right? When I say that people will generally select things that are, like, according to their flavor anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
Kinda like
this entire... Go ahead.
Kind of like in D&D and Pathfinder, there's a lot of people that will go plain old human simply because they've got the best racial stats.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, to be honest, I've never been someone who's cared about, I guess, making a best meta, like the best meta in a character, but I do care that my characters are at least viable.
Yeah. You don't min-max for meta, you min-max just so that way whatever their gimmick is works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have dealt with quite a few, or I have dealt with quite a few people that min-max for meta, and it's like, I did not want to have anybody feeling like they had to do that or be left behind. Because getting into a game where people are doing that is just a feels bad man moment.
Yeah, because if you're not doing that, you feel outperformed.
Yep.
Oh.
Which is also why, like, you know, I intentionally, because, like, you know, I know the system, like, inside and out. So, like, I, technically speaking, know all the things to do to make, like, the strongest possible characters. I intentionally don't do that. The only one that I've intentionally made really good in combat is Vane. He's the only one. And when I say really good in combat, I mean the bird has 11 moves. He has spent like 84% of his character's entire XP pool on moves.
I should clarify, I'm not actually that proficient in TTRPGs.
That's
I've only played a couple, and to be honest, they all went pretty cursed.
Classic. But yeah, no, I'm just... It's, I try to make sure that, like, you know, there's nothing, like, too broken in Scar, like, balance-wise, because, like, you know, I end up running a bunch of numbers. Technically speaking, we're doing a big sin of making changes that are going to wildly improve the already strongest build in the game. But the next patch after, we're about to actually put in the countermeasures to that, so it'll be fine. People won't have enough time to like abuse the fact that, because the fun part is that the people just aren't using the strongest builds in the game by the majority of them.
I think part of the problem is that they're kind of convoluted and difficult to understand how to use them.
That's fair. There's one that's there's two that are really easy to understand. Viv is technically using one of them with Narashi. She's using well, she has the character Narashi has the second best build in the game. Still gets outstripped by the best, but best build of the game is a combination of conditions, and you just focus on that, and you just completely demolish opponents and turn them into drooling messes that can't do anything.
Well, that sounds less like combat.
We're doing the best we can.
I don't know.
Well, he was making an innuendo there.
Yes, I was. Drooling messes is usually not the state of someone who's just been beaten.
Yeah, no, he was just doing some innuendos there.
Derp.
Sorry.
I mean, you're fine.
I mean, if you want to be a drooling mess.
Doesn't everybody?
He already was last night.
You know, Zen, you never gave me many details about that. Are you trying to let my imagination run wild?
No. I'll give you details off stream, though.
Yeah, see, I don't mind there being incredibly strong to play, like, you know, OP, this is the best. But what I really like is when that is done, that those classes, those roles or archetypes are intentionally made incredibly difficult to play. So it's like, they can be really strong, but unless you play them well, they're absolutely useless.
Yeah, which is kind of what I did for certain things, for, like, you know, my balancing thing. Because the funniest part is that the best build in the game is, like, hard countered by the second best. Because, well, technically speaking, it's like mutually assured destruction. Because here's the best build in the game. I'm gonna not go into too much detail about it, but effectively it's going into stat changes and conditions very heavily. So that means that you're leveling soul the most whenever you get attribute points, and you're trying to max out your soul as fast as possible. This leaves you with a really low body and mind stat, which means your physical and special evasions and integrities are going to be really low. However, the bonuses is that you're applying conditions, which with your high soul stat probably going hard into a main social skill, so that way you can use that for your conditions. you are capable of utilizing conditions and all of that very well, and you're probably going to get past everyone's soul save with it. The downside is that if someone utilizes mechanics correctly and does things like the second wind cleanse, the second best build in the game, for example, is a crit parry build. But they don't need to worry about parrying with you. They just go on the offensive and crit you every single attack, and you just melt.
So it's the standard, caster may be really strong, but a good sword to their chest kills them kind of vibe.
Yeah. Except you aren't even limited to being by the chest. You can have a ranged attack, and you just, like, from distance, just, like, point at them, and they die.
Yeah, so glass cannon.
Yeah. With the caveat that, if they get to you first, and they do everything that they're capable of doing, you're gonna have a bad time. You're going to be simultaneously afflicted with like 5 different conditions, each of which makes it almost impossible for you to actually do something against them.
I like glass cannons. I usually end up playing the mages.
Yep.
In games.
Yep. But
yes, you die very easily, but at the same time, when you get to go first, you bring the pain.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't really have time to put in accessories, which are going to be the basically the armor for the armor against condition builds. So for like a month, they're just going to be extra good because specifically conditions kind of just bypass armor, and we're about to like put out armor and weapons in like, a revamp update. So condition builds are about to be ridiculous, but then we're going to put out accessories and then it'll be balanced.
Theoretically, my biggest concern with condition builds is that it also overlaps with being the face of the party, and that can be very powerful in its own right too.
That's true, but we did want to specifically make it so that way. Usually, by default, they work with the social skills to give social skill characters some base combat stats.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if maybe putting more focus in the natural dot would help counterbalance the overwhelming efficacy of the conditions, but that's just it'll get sorted out anyway.
The overwhelming efficacy of conditions is mostly because save or suck things are generally in a category where either they're useful or they're the literal worst thing you could ever invest in.
In this system, it's cleanse or suck.
Yeah, but you know what I mean when I say save or suck. Either it is useful or it is the most useless piece of shit imaginable, and we don't want it to be useless.
I know. I was just being silly. But yeah, it'll get fixed before long. It's just if you also consider the power of roleplay and handling skill-based situations, the face usually, I mean, I don't know. There is kind of an overlap where a lot of faces in Dungeons and Dragons also turn into skill jockeys. Like 5th edition Bard just kind of became good at all skills too, so maybe not so much. But
yeah, we don't have that problem, thankfully. But we do. As long as things are going vaguely along, like, our new EXP recommendations, it'll really, people will have enough XP to invest in secondary skills to a good amount, having, decent combat skills as well. Invest in multiple moves or weapons, a couple of feats, maybe a couple specialties, all of that. But it's just going to be a case of due to circumstances of development for 1 month, condition builds are going to be the most ridiculous bullshit.
That happens.
And that happens. And also, the The only person really playing a dedicated condition build right now, I think, is Era playing Spike, so...
Yeah.
Like, I think he's literally the only one doing a dedicated condition build at this second. Because, like, you know, at best, there's, like, a couple other people that have, like, flexed into conditions, but aren't doing a dedicated build for it. Because, like, Vayne can apply conditions. I know, at least from when I last talked with him, I'm gonna need... He's supposed to message me about it at some point over the next couple of days, and we work on it together, but Rex is gonna fill out Chomper's sheet. I know Chomper does at least, like, you know, some stun shenanigans, so he has a little bit of condition build. He has a high soul stat. He should really have some conditions anyway. Riv has a condition option, but it's not his main thing, and it gives him 3 exhaustion to use it. Needless to say, that's a little bit unrecommended.
I don't know why, when I'm thinking of a condition build, I'm just remembering the Pokemon I built really high for speed and evasion that would just use accuracy reduction attacks and confusion.
Okay, Justy.
It was cruel.
So let's continue thinking. Asher doesn't really have any conditions, right? I know he does some stat changes, but I don't think he does conditions, right?
No, at least not right now. It is something that I want him to do eventually.
Yeah, because I know he goes into Soul, so... I just didn't think he had any right now.
Yeah, his main thing right now is just healing.
Yeah. So... I don't know about the others, but I just have the feeling that they don't really do conditions.
Shell will be going condition build, but it's still too early for him to have a real build for that yet.
Yeah, about to say I wasn't even going to consider that game just because it's kind of a bit early for that. Last Hope. We barely have enough XP to have a build anyway, but I don't think anyone's going condition with what they have.
I wonder what type of build a Toxic Venoshock would be.
Oh, that'd be condition.
Okay.
That'd be a condition build, 100%.
That makes sense.
You just apply blight to them over and over, and you just, like, kill them with that. So, and then in Wild Traditions, like, you know, obviously we have someone with a dedicated condition build of Spike. Starlight. I don't think y'all really have conditions in Starlight. So, yeah. Overall, we have, like, 4 or 5 people who are even really using conditions, and only 1 person doing a dedicated condition build. So, technically speaking, it being ridiculously powerful for a month, it doesn't matter, because damn well no one's doing it right now. Which also means, I guess, technically speaking, it's the best time for it to be ridiculously overpowered.
Probably should wait until it's balanced and Fry play, because I think I'd probably end up gravitating to condition builds.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
well,
no,
I'm talking about
fine.
for, like... yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm talking about, like, you know, for our ongoing, like, you know, public games. Cause, yeah, no, that's, it really won't be a problem. Like, you know, Spike will be really powerful if things actually happen that necessitates him fighting in the next, like, 2 or 3 sessions, which, like, probably, but, like, oh no, one character's, like, kinda powerful because of current balancing. It won't matter. It won't matter anyway, because what's gonna end up happening is that they're gonna end up trying to kill Nova, because Nova's getting in the way, and he'll just be lucky. Or failing that, really hard to kill. And I say this with absolute certainty, knowing that Nova's build is shit for anything that isn't staying alive and being annoying. The Eevee has one move, and it's called Headbutt. That's all he has. He has that, a massive health pool, a lot of defenses, and that's it.
Good.
By the way, I like how Nova had no healing abilities and still somehow legitimately remained up even after all of that chip damage we took overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps when at 12 attributes you have 18 health.
I like being alive. I like being alive.
He has 50% more health than he should, technically speaking. I mean, he bought the feats, but you know what I mean.
That's funny.
Look, he is the barbarian dumbass tank of the group, and he does nothing if not absorb a bunch of damage. Because what ends up happening half the time is it's just a case of, okay, so they're attacking Nova. They have downed Nova twice. You have now used 3 of Nova's 5 health bars.
I mean, at this point, why don't they just wield Nova as the weapon?
Oh, I've done that.
Pretty effective. Yeah, that has actually happened too. You see, Zim rolls really good when, for example, we were doing an event where we had to fight, like, effectively ghosts of our own past. And so he had 2 Novas on his field, and every time something came up with one of them, he was rolling hot. And even his other, the other ones that he was using were, like, their dice were on fire. And then when both of the Nova Echoes died, all of the luck dried up immediately.
I placed 2 Novas on the battlefield in my turn.
I am not going to use. I need to save up more points so I can transform more.
You what?
He
Oh,
wants
it
to
just
save up
came up
egg
with a-
coins so he can transform you more.
It just came up with a prompt for me to throw an egg at you, and I'm like, no, I need to save those so I can throw potions at you.
Looks down at my 850,000 egg coins.
I don't. I almost got up to 2,000. Now I'm back down to like 200.
I'm closing in on 1 million pretty fast.
Then you can be throwing potions at him.
No.
He's a dragon.
Okay.
He hoards everything.
Look, I may have an Eevee as my icon right now, but I am Durkin.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I will now be Durkin.
Oh no.
You'll be spherical Durgan.
I am in fact spherical at this moment.
Spherical.
The joke being that before I had one of these, I only had like a square profile picture thing on the reactives. So he ended up getting me one where it was round like the others, and it was immediately I immediately made it into memes like the Drake and Josh, it's spherical.
Something feels wrong about my bun. But I can't put my finger on what feels wrong about my bun.
Send it to me. I can probably give some feedback. Or Raijin could.
I'll just give a bit more solidity to some of the lines on its feet, and then I shall.
I'll put more detail on the feet. That fixes all problems.
I was going to say the plan with Comet is also focusing at least mostly on Soul for the primary. But I have spent a lot of time, and this was even before the armor thing. I have spent some time thinking about alternatives to just doing the condition build while being Soul based. So
yep. A really strong option is stat changes. Stat changes are nasty to deal with.
Yeah, that was one of the plans. Like, regardless of what exactly happens and whatever campaign Comet eventually ends up in, one of his main moves is going to be heal over time rocks that he sticks on his party members, and just a bunch of different moves that are basically the same thing but with different stat changes associated with them.
You know what? It's the feckin' fingers.
Unironically though, for stat changes are some of the strongest thing in the game, and people don't use them nearly enough.
Why would you not use?
Yeah, a while ago I actually had a conversation with a couple of the Wild Connection players because they weren't really using negatives on their moves. And they were struggling with like getting enough power on there, and I was like, well, why not just put negatives that don't matter to me on it?
Yeah, because you can do that. We do ask that, like, you know, if you're a physical only character, please don't stuff all of your moves with, you know, like -3 special damage. Like, this is why we say, like, for all of this stuff, the storyteller has the right to tell you to knock it off.
That one's very abusable, but I mean, like, just a little bit of HP there, a little bit of exhaustion here and there. You know,
it helps you fill out, but it does feel painful. But you know, it does really help you fill it out if you don't have enough otherwise. Also, Slitherite, you are cuter. You are far cuter.
Oh yeah, we had the conversation a few devs sessions ago about negative temporary stat changes was a thing that I really conceptually liked.
Yeah, which is why
that's going away.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I did talk Zeb into keeping a note in the stat changes, specifically about to bring up the exact wording. Temporary stat changes. There could be some interesting attacks we had with only temporary stat changes, ones that last for only one round, or perhaps a limited number of them. These are possible, though you need to negotiate the cost of them with your storyteller. For storytellers, be careful of how much discount you give, if any, for the temporary change. Make sure you have the full ideas, such as the tactic they have in mind, before deciding the price. So you can still do them by rules, it's just they aren't base costed out. It's more of like okay, look, we understand that people want to do this, so talk with your storyteller about the exact price and how long it lasts. I know I have a really unique strategy that I use with Vayne called Ambuscade, where it involves simultaneously increasing his initiative for the scene and temporarily nuking his initiative for a scene. In order to, it basically lets the opponent go twice and then he goes twice. But he has a specific strategy in mind for going twice. Which is always really funny.
Okay, this is where we're gonna call it on Timberborn for tonight, because I did promise to do some Stellaris, and I realized, holy crap, we're coming up on 3. So, we're probably gonna wind up going a little later tonight, guys. But thank you so much for joining us so far on the stream today. That was Timberborn. Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Patreon, and more. There on the website, as well as down in the description below through our link tree. Thank you to my patrons, tippers, and subscribers. It is your support that keeps this channel alive and going. I cannot do this without your guys' help and your support, so thank you. Consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. It's one of the best ways to support the channel, though you can also do so by sharing the stream around, as well as coming by, hanging out, picking up packs of cards to stream loots, commissioning one of the artists that I manage for. Their details are at zgf.art, or by just coming by and hanging out. But for now, thank you so much for joining, and I bid you all the most fondest adieu.
Bye-bye. Duke.